Welcome. We'll get started shortly. Before we begin, here's how to earn continuing professional education credit for attending this session. There are no polling questions or attendance checks. Instead, you will demonstrate your knowledge by taking a brief multiple-choice quiz using the Earmark app. Visit earmark.app in your web browser. You can also download the mobile app by scanning the QR code on the screen. Log in, or if you're new, create your free account. Be sure to use a valid email address because that's where we'll send your course completion certificates. From the home screen, scroll down to find the course. You can also tap the magnifying glass icon to search for the course. Tap on the course artwork, then the Enroll button. On the Course tab, you'll find the recording and quiz questions. Complete the quiz to earn your CPE certificate. It takes us a few days to create the course on the app, so if you are attending this session live, please wait a few days. We'll email you a link to the course when it is ready. If you have questions or need help, email us at support@earmarkcpe.com. And now, on to the event.
Hello, everyone. I'm Zach from Earmark, and thanks for joining us today or watching this on demand. This is Inside the CPA Workflow, Insights and Strategies for January Prep. I'm going to hand this over to your two instructors for today, Jason Ackerman and Charles Hardy from Tax Bandits. So please take it away, guys.
Thanks very much, Zach. Thanks. So my name's Charles with Tax Bandits. We appreciate everybody joining us today for this special session here with Jason Ackerman. And we have the pleasure of chatting with Mr. Jason Ackerman here today. We at Tax Bandits and Span Enterprises have known Jason for the past, I want to say 10 years now, Jason. I was just looking at that, and I think we've been working together for a solid decade now. Jason, among other things, is a CPA. Among many other things, he's a CPA. We've known him for quite some time. He's our favorite local CPA right here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Jason is the what is your role at BNA? You are a
co-managing partner.
Managing partner at BNA CPA here in Rock Hill. He is also the co-founder and CFO of Wealth Rabbit, another product that he supports and we work with here at Span Enterprises. And you're also a professional panelist for things like this, for webinars and podcasts. You are a frequent guest on these types of events, and we appreciate you giving us some of your time today to help.
What an introduction, Charles. What an introduction. Favorite local CPA.
Favorite local CPA. Probably.
We don't have too much talent here in Rock Hill, so that's not saying that much, but glad to be here to talk about getting ready for January.
As a CPA, so it is quite a compliment to say you're my favorite CPA.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
But nonetheless, I'm very, very, very much happy that you could join us here. And thank you all for joining us. And we will end the shenanigans now and get into the
questions already.
Get the questions. And keep in mind, if you have questions throughout the program, please feel free to chime in the comments section, and we will get to those as well. So, Jason, as we approach year end, why is it so important for CPAs and CPA firms to begin preparation for January now?
Yeah, so I don't know how you guys are, but for me, I do a lot of tax returns, and our busiest time is February to April. And the more stuff that we can get done the earlier, it makes that February through April better. So that really starts like now. We're in December. If you're listening to this recorded, it could be later, but we're recording beginning in December. It really starts like before that. It starts with your processes throughout the year. But now is really like a good time where you start prepping for January. In January, 1099s are due, which is the biggest thing for our clients that we're spending a lot of time on. But also at this time, you're trying to get the work papers ready for the tax returns. You might be doing property tax returns. Everything's kind of coming to a head at this time.
Yeah.
So it's definitely important for your sanity to come up with processes beforehand.
Absolutely. And you mentioned 1099s and W-2s. That's obviously one of our core focuses here at Tax Bandits. So would you say for clients that have seasonal employees or people that already have this information ready to go, for people you'd say to go ahead and start doing it now, as we've recently opened up filing for the current tax year.
Yeah. So I think for the 1099s, the process starts really when you make the payment to whoever needs to send a 1099. You really need to come up with a good process for that. Ideally, you're collecting the W-9 and doing the TIN matching before you pay somebody. And you need to train your clients this way. And what's nice about that is TaxBandits makes it super easy. They have a W-9 processor. You literally email the person before you make a payment. They fill it out, TIN matches, comes back to you. And if you get that W-9 when you pay it, then 10 months later, now when you're trying to send them the 1099, you can't get a hold of them. It becomes a really big pain. So I think that's like one of the biggest things is like setting up a process for yourselves, especially if you guys are doing the bookkeeping for them. Even if they're not getting the W-9s right away, if you're doing the bookkeeping once a month, coming up with that list of, hey, you paid these 5 people. We don't have W-9s on file. Let's get the W-9s on file right now. Super easy. Just send me their email addresses and I'll send them to them. So just the more you can prep beforehand to get that stuff. Because if you have everything ready to go, you can file your 1099s. Yeah, you start filing them now. File them early in January, get them out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, earlier is always better. Now, would you suggest that firms try to shift as much activity from January as possible into December? So like anything that could be done in January, if you can do it in December, go ahead and do that now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to shift as much even before December. Shift as much as you can. Like, this is the calm before the storm. December. So and you might I do a lot of tax planning in December. So December is actually pretty busy for me. So for us, but for our bookkeeping team, like this is their busy season really starting now. It's like, hey, they're trying to prep for January because then once January hits, they've got to get all these stuff out. It's a tight turnaround for 1099s. You only have till January 31st for most of them. So you really want to get your ducks in a row. And, it starts with the process of collecting the W-9, but then it also it's how are you going to file these things? How are you going to streamline your filing process? And I think that's what TaxBandits has done a really good job of, is they've created this product that makes it easy to file 1099s. And I think in general, the world is more complex. You got to find the right tech stack for you that'll help you do your job better. Like if you're still like hand filing 1099s, it's like, what are you doing? Like I know it costs, whatever it costs at TaxBandits, but your time is more valuable than like going to Staples, printing out 1099s and mailing them. Like use the technology to help you streamline these processes so that you can spend more time with your clients advising them. And that's where you're going to make the real money.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's particularly relevant for firms thinking of, how do I scale? How does this activity, how do I continue doing this where I'm not doing everything myself, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're a solo person and you're doing the bookkeeping for them and you're doing everything, like you can't take on more clients unless you streamline your processes. Yeah. And the nice thing now is there's so much good technology out there that can help you do this. Like TaxBandits is a big part of that. Like we file all of our 1099s, but it's not just that, it's the 941s, the W-2s. Like if you need something, they make it easy. And there's other technologies for other tax software that if you need different things. So find the right technology that works for your firm and utilize it.
Yeah, that's vital. I mean, do you want to take a minute to talk about kind of like the tech stack that you recommend, or the tech stack that you kind of find yourself gravitating toward?
Yeah. So we use, I think the most important thing you can have in your firm is the right workflow management. So making sure that what work is you have to do, when it's due, who's doing it. So we use Carbon for that. We've been a long-time Carbon user, and TaxBandits has an integration with Carbon, which is fantastic. So like I think that's the first thing that you've got. If you are doing stuff on spreadsheets, or even if you're one person, like you've got to set up your processes. And like the first thing is finding that workflow management tool and CRM tool. So like I think that's the first step is like, hey, find that. Like we use Carbon. There's Canopy. There's a couple other ones you can look at that are pretty good. So that's the first thing. The second thing is finding the individual softwares, and I guess we should back up, like figuring out the right email tool. I think by now, like everyone is using Microsoft or Gmail, but if you're using some weird other one, it's like you got to get on one of those, because everything kind of sits on top of the email, and so you got to get that. You got to get your document management, so where you're going to store all your files. We use Box for that, but there's share file and whatever. You need a good cloud tool where you can share your documents, and then after that, it's these individual products for your individual different processes that you have. So like for the bookkeeping side, it's like what cloud accounting bookkeeping you're going to use. Are you going to use Xero or are you going to use QuickBooks? Are basically the ones. We're a Xero house. We do some QuickBooks too. And then on top of that, it's like, hey, how are you going to file your 1099s? How are you going to file if you have some W-2s or whatever? What tax program are you going to use? So like, we use tax bandits for the 1099s and some of the W-2s. We use CCH for our tax products. And then there's a lot of other smaller things that we do. But I always tell people, like, with technology, like, you can't implement all those 10 things at once.
Yeah.
Even if you're one person, like, that's a lot. It's easier the less people you have, but like, just start basic. Like, how is a product
different for everybody depending on.
Yeah, you can't do, like, I can't tell Charles, hey, by the way, we're going to change 10 things right now. You have to learn them all immediately. Like, Charles is going to revolt and try and kill me. So like go easy. Pick the ones that are easiest to do. Like tax bandits is an easy thing to do. If you're paper filing your 1099s, it's like easy step. Use tax bandits. If you're using a product that like not everyone in your firm, it's not built for CPAs, not like more than one person can't use it at a time with a 1099. Like that's what tax bandits is good for. You can see all your clients across your entire firm and see who's working on them. And there's some workflows built in. So like do the easy stuff first. If we can save you, let's say 5 minutes for a 1099 filing where you would have to print it out and mail it. Well, 5 times 200 clients that you have or whatever, that's a lot of time spent or saved that you can spend doing other stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you for that quick little detour on that. Now, Jason, what are some ways that firms can approach year-end reconciliation to help January become a smoother process?
Yeah, so I think a big thing for us that we've done is making sure that like we have access to the books and that they're on a cloud-based accounting system. Like we won't take a client anymore that's going to do stuff pen and paper because that's just not efficient. And these cloud accounting software, like Xero's, it starts at $10 a month. QuickBooks is like $30 a month. It's not that expensive for these clients. So you got to get your clients set up on a cloud accounting system. And like for us, now is a good time in December to start our tax workflow. So normally if we only touch their books once a year, now's a good time to go in. Hey, let's start seeing what we can fix right now. Obviously, we can't close out the year, but we can do, 95% of it before the year end. Let's make sure everything's right, the balance sheet's right. Let's pull the 1099 list. Let's see who we're missing W-9s for, so we can tell the client now instead of waiting until January 15th to be like, hey, we need these people in 2 weeks. So anything you can do there to streamline and have visibility. So visibility is key. Like you have to be able to see the books. If they have stuff on pen and paper, you can't see it. They have to bring that to you. Also, we make our clients give us their bank logins or create logins for us. So it's very annoying to have to ask your client every time to like send us a bank statement or send us stuff. Like anytime you can take the client out of the process for those mundane tasks, so you're not waiting on them, the better. So like getting bank apps, speaking of TEDSAT, using a bank like Relay, like having your clients recommend a Relay there's a couple of them, but Relay is the one that we recommend where I can have one login for all my clients' bank accounts. I can pull stuff like that, just saves a lot of time. And this is a lot of stuff that like you guys can charge your clients for. So like process improvement, that's what the client's looking for. Like, hey, how can I streamline my books? How can I do all this stuff? Like you charge them, hey, I'm going to charge you $2,500 and we're going to do an assessment of their tech stack, their accounting tech stack, to see what they're missing and how we can make improvements. And then once you do that assessment, then you go and you charge them to implement. And that's just like stuff that they want. Like they don't know about all these accounting products that you guys know about. So if you tell them, hey, let's set up Relay and Zero, and we're going to teach you how to use W9 with Tax Bandits, like that's going to save them a lot of time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Now, a lot of preparation. You can prepare for a lot, but then there's also the unexpected that's going to hit you. You know, you can prepare for as much as you can, but there's always going to be those kind of surprises. So, how would you recommend firms prepare for those sort of unexpected, corrections that may need to happen, rejected filings that are going to happen from time to time? Any other kind of advice there for having processes?
Yeah, I mean, if I looked at my phone right now, there's probably 10 surprises on my phone.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Like that's all we're dealing all the time, right? Is like we have clients that have questions or need stuff. So like anything you can do to streamline to take away that stuff. So like with W9s, it's TIN matching up front. Like if you TIN match up front, then you know that when you send the 1099, you're not going to get that rejection, that IRS letter in 9 months saying you screwed something up, or it's going to get rejected. So like coming up with that process. And one thing that's going to happen with the IRS starting next year is like they're not going to even let you file a 1099. It's just going to get rejected if the TIN's not matched. So you're going to have to do this. So now's the time to come up with these processes beforehand. And the number one rejection for 1099s, and Charles, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is the TIN matching. You have the wrong TIN for your client.
Mismatch between the name and the.
Yeah, and it really comes back on your client. Like if they pay somebody and they don't get that W9, like that can come back on them. So it's really important to create these processes and tell them that, like, hey, like if you pay someone, $50,000, you don't have the right TIN. The IRS comes back and says, "Who is this person?" They disallow that $50,000 deduction. I mean, that could be $20,000, $30,000 in tax savings that you just lost.
Yeah.
So.
And
big numbers.
And it's crazy how slow those rejections or errors can come about from the IRS. It could be nearly a year later after the actual or longer.
Yeah, they normally come out in November. You guys know. You're getting these, and then you have to deal with that letter. They're like, hey, what does this letter mean?
What's going on with that?
You got to spend time explaining to them, hey, you did the wrong TIN. We got to get a new W-9 for this person. So, yeah. It's going to come to bite you at some point, so might as well get ahead of it in the front end.
Yeah. And a lot of those errors can come if you got like a handwritten W-9, rather than a digitized version, So if somebody's just writing down this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. How many W-9s have I looked at that you can't read what they wrote on there?
Yeah. And it's a recipe for an error, just because.
Is it Jason or John? Is that a 7 or a 1?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, so on that topic, how can CPAs make sure that things like your names, your TINs, your addresses are all matching across all your systems?
Yeah, that's where the TIN matching comes in.
Yeah.
And there's products that do that. Tax Bandits is one of them. Like you can have it. And what's nice is like if you have the same contact, like you might have multiple clients playing the same contact. Like you can see all that in Tax Bandits. Like that's the beauty of a system like that.
Yeah. So
TIN matching up front, TIN matching now. It's like now's the time. Absolutely. But it really starts with getting that W-9. Like if the faster you can get the W-9 and TIN match, the better. Yeah. And there's automated like you don't have to manually do it now. If you use Tax Bandits and you send the email to them and they fill it out and it does it automatically, it's very little work for you.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. And any other particular checks that you would recommend for CPAs to run to make sure that the taxpayer information is accurate, before the filing season?
I think the biggest thing a big thing we see is like if you're a single member LLC that's disregarded, like they're supposed to put their social security number. It's supposed to be their name and their social security number. So like if I have my own LLC, if I had, whatever, Wealth Rabbit LLC and I was 100% owner, like I should put Jason Ackerman, put my social on the W-9. Like so many clients mess that up and people mess it up. And I mean, I've argued with lawyers who are filling out their W-9, Ron. I'm like, this is not right. You did not fill this out right. And they're like, no, I did.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's, I'm sure people listen to this.
I think I was part of one of those conversations.
Yeah, exactly. and at one point, I'm just like, okay. But if you have that automated process where they're filling out the W-9, like it won't let them make the wrong selections.
Yeah.
Like if they put single member LLC, it's going to make them put their social in there.
They need to have
so that's just, I think that's the biggest error when people fill out W-9s that you get 10 rejections for.
Gotcha. Thank you. Now, how would you say CPAs should handle situations where a worker has both W-2 and 1099 relationships with the same company? So that'd be like a contractor becomes an employee or an employee becomes a contractor, those kind of things.
Very carefully. So, I always tell clients that it depends on what state you're in too. Like if you're in California, they want everyone to be an employee.
Yeah.
If you're in South Carolina, we're a little bit,
Right.
less stringent on that. But the key is documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially on the contractor side. But once they're an employee, like as long as you're running them through payroll and doing the proper withholdings, like you're good. But if you're paying someone as a contractor, you need to make sure that you have the contractor, like a contractor agreement, that they understand that they're a contractor. Because the worst thing that can happen is they think they're an employee and they go file for unemployment insurance, and then the state realizes you're paying as a contractor, and that's how you get audited. Yeah. So that's the key. Make sure that you have the proper documentation in place where they know that. Yeah,
and it really should depend on the job responsibilities, essentially, right? So I mean,
and there's a lot of gray areas. Like you go on the IRS and it says, there's 11 or 9 different things that tell you whether you're an employee or a contractor.
Yeah. One of those weird areas that
it's control. It goes down to control. Like, are you controlling them? Are they working for more than one person? It basically, if you have somebody who's a contractor that's only working for you, you're controlling them like they should probably be an employee.
Right. If you're dictating, how they do their job.
Yeah. But if they're working, if you got somebody and they're freelancing for you and they're freelancing for other people and they're saying their own hours and they're a contractor. So it's all facts and circumstances based.
Yeah, exactly. But so let's say somebody happens to be both during the same year. They would need both a 1099 and a W-2 for that particular year, depending on how that
That's
job
correct. Yep.
Yeah, it's one of those weird areas where it's accounting kind of bleeds into HR a little bit there. And
exactly. You need to make sure. Yeah. And your system should have, when you're paying somebody, whether they were a contractor or through the payroll.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what are some things that may suggest someone is classified incorrectly? You've kind of gotten into this a little bit. It's about the job duties, right? And responsibilities and
Yep, job duties, responsibilities, control.
Those
are the things you need to look out with when you're advising the clients.
Yeah.
And obviously, for tax purposes, like we want them to be contractors. That's better for lots of different reasons. You don't have to pay FICA tax on them. Like they're not subject to retirement plans if you have them. Like benefits. There's a lot of reasons why we want them to be contractors.
Sure.
But
it's not as arbitrary. It's not as arbitrary. We'll just change them to that.
You just can't have like. There's certain people that should be employees.
Yeah.
And you just have to be careful because like your chances of getting audited by the IRS is very slim. Your chances of getting audited by the state is a lot higher, especially on these areas: sales tax, unemployment tax, which just would fall under. Contractors, like this stuff is where the states are the wild, wild west because they kind of make up their own rules. Like the IRS has all these audit procedures and blah, blah, blah. You get audited by the state. It's like whoever's doing that audit, like that's what goes. So like you just have to and that's why documentation is so important on these things. Like making sure that if they are a contractor, you have that contractor agreement and they understand that. Like you need to make sure that you have that.
Now, is there a way you would recommend for CPAs to review large vendor lists to determine, whether any potential contractors or vendors have been misclassified as a contractor versus an employee?
As a CPA, like, I don't think we should tell them whether they should be an employee or contractor. I think that's a legal thing. I think we need to point it out and tell them, hey, like, we think there could be an issue here. You need to consult with an attorney to see what's going on. But
there could be warning indicators or sort of.
Yeah, I think in general, my belief as a CPA is you should always tell the client if you see something, even if it doesn't fall under your purview, you should alert them to that. And we have a responsibility to do that. So if you see something like, hey, you're paying this person a lot of money, I think you should review if they should be and make sure they shouldn't be an employee or vice versa. So just alerting them. And that's what the client values. It's like, hey, that's value. That's practical advice to tell
your job. It's your job to be the truth teller there, right? I mean, you have to bring, regardless of whether you know the full situation.
Exactly.
It's your job to.
Like, I don't know everything. Like, I'm not an expert,
exactly.
And you can't be. I can't be an expert in every part of the tax law, but I can know enough to be like, hey, this person we need to review that, or this person needs this cost segregation study, or this person needs an R&D credit, or like, I think we should look at this. Like, those are stuff as a CPA, I think we need to know and be able to tell a client,
and that's where your value comes in too, though. Is being that trusted advisor, being that person you can go to this person and seek the what.
Yeah, we want to be the quarterback for the client. So sometimes the quarterback has to hand off to somebody else to score a touchdown. But you're doing the handoff. So they should pay you. Like, that's where it's the most valuable. Quarterback gets paid the most money on the team for the most part. So like, you want to be that person, and you want to be able to coordinate with their financial advisor, their lawyer, blah, 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 blah. Like, because you're probably the first line of defense, especially if you're doing the bookkeeping. Like, you should be able to see this stuff. And training your bookkeepers to see this stuff is very hard. And if they're doing so much mundane tasks that's manual that can be automated, like, that's where they need to be thinking about the other stuff. So, like, a big reason why you need to be using this technology to alert your clients of stuff like this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Jason. We've covered a lot of this, but would you say there's any other common client misunderstandings about employee versus contractor relationships? And we've covered some of it, but any other things to look at?
I mean, people don't understand. Like, there's so many people that are contractors that shouldn't be employees. It's very rare the other way around.
Contractors that should be employees, you're saying?
Yeah, that should be employees. Yeah. And they're just like, well, this is how my industry does it. It's like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, that's not a good argument in front of the IRS or the states, is my industry does this.
Right.
So, you have to compete and you have to be competitive with your, competition, but you also need to do things the right way. So just,
so if you've got people that are heavily contractor workforce, then you have to expect that they've also got a certain amount of independence to their work. And, and they have control, not
exactly. And if you work in a big thing where this happens too is, like, if you're working in a place where they might not have all legal citizens working for you, and you want to pay them under the table, or blah, 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 or you don't get the W-9, or you don't TIN match, like, that's where you can get in trouble. If you try to deduct that and they say you paid something, that wasn't done right. So,
especially now. Yeah, that's right. So how would you say firms can prepare for the unexpected, which may include, the last minute client challenges? So I'm sure most of your stresses in January come from clients not getting you stuff on time. You're not hearing from something on time, or they're dropping something on you at the last minute. So what are some ways that you can kind of help coach your clients into avoiding last minute problems?
I think it goes back to cut them out as much as possible. Don't rely on the client.
Yeah.
And I mean that like take stuff off their plate that you can do.
Right. Insert yourself into the process as much as you can.
Like, do the book, convince them that they need to pay you to do the bookkeeping and do the W-9s and give you the bank access so you can see the stuff and like all this stuff. Obviously you want all this stuff securely. But yeah, all this stuff that the more you can cut out the client, the better. As far as the mundane tasks, now you want to have those conversations with the client, monthly or quarterly about the good stuff, the advising, the tax planning, how they can run their business better, how they can make more money. That's what you want to spend the time on. You don't want the client also, like, if they shouldn't be spending the time on the bookkeeping stuff. That's what we have expertise in. So like if they're a doctor and they're doing bookkeeping, it's like they can make more money being a doctor, So I think that's my biggest thing. And like as an accountant, there's fewer and fewer accountants. There's more work than we can ever handle. Like it's picking the right work. If a client does not fit, like there's some basic principles that they have to follow. I'm all about like letting a client, how they want to communicate with you, if they want to text you or email you or whatever, blah, blah. Like, I think that's fine. Like let them communicate, but like they have to follow certain processes that you have. And for us, it's like, you got to be on a cloud accounting software. You have to be able to share information. If you don't trust me if you're not going to give me read-only bank access, I'm going to see all your bank transactions anyway. Like, why aren't you giving that to me? So like you got to, and they've got to be willing to listen to you. So like, you don't want a client that's going to never do anything that you say, because then you're not providing value to them. It's making it harder for you. And those last minute clients, it's like, you got to cut. It's okay to fire some clients because you'll get a better client 2 days later.
Yeah. It's all about relationships, right? You're in a bad one, get out of it. Right. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
You can pick your clients. You can't pick your family.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're stuck with the family you got, but you can't. You can't pick your clients. Yeah.
And you got enough stuff to deal with those relationships.
You want to say these are the kind of people we're going to service, and you'll be happier. So, what risks during filing season would you say are most underestimated by firms? Or some things that people are typically not thinking about this time of year?
I mean, as far as risks, it's like your risk of non-filing for your client. I mean, those are the big, like not having your processes in place where you miss stuff. That's the biggest risk that you're going to have. So making sure you have that good task management system, the good technology processes alleviates a lot of that risk.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Because you file stuff late for the client, it's like, that's on you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And you got to take responsibility for that if you're in that role. Now, how would a firm be able to identify its biggest workflow bottlenecks before January, so you can kind of get out of the operations before it really gets critical?
I think the key, like what's taking you the most time.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just you probably know, like, hey, I'm spending a lot of time on this, or where there's a piece that's very manual, like that's where I would start looking. If you have employees, like go talk with them and they'll tell you, like what's wrong. Like where they think.
If you have too many things that only one person is doing, or only one person is able to do this thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that stuff, and just where it's taking time, like I know going through my process, like what's taking me the most time, like where technology could help. And that's where I start, like that's how I found out about tax bandits or about Zero. It's like, hey, like this doesn't make sense. Why, this is 10 years ago, but like, why can't I link to the bank and code transactions? It's like, it's 2012. We should have that by now. So, and it was there and it was Zero. So that's how we found out. It's like tax bandits. Why are we paper filing a 1099? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like we have like red paper here that we're having to print. Like that makes no sense. So it's doing like the little stuff, like tackle the little stuff first. It'll incrementally, like I can't save you 2 hours on a 1099, but I can save you 5 minutes on each one. Or like, I'm not going to be able for a tax return, like like no matter what AI tells you, like you're not going to be able to do a tax return in 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can save you 10 minutes of tax return or 20 minutes of tax return, like that's what you need to do. That's where the value comes in.
Absolutely. Now, where do you see in many firms, where would you say capacity typically collapses when you have a situation where volume is exceeding, your expectations?
Normally it's the reviewer. Normally it's the second line,
Mm.
like the preparers.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you could have a problem there, but a lot of times the preparers will be giving stuff to the reviewers, and the reviewers don't have time
Mm.
to review it because they don't have the right processes in place. So it gets bottlenecked there.
Mm.
That's normally where I see it happen.
Yeah. And that's a solution. You'd say you look for a technology solution to help you out with that, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the preparing, like the key is like if the technology can do the preparing, then you can have the preparers do the first round of review, and then the reviewers are only having to do like very high level review.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be.
Perfect. Now, what are some ways that firms can turn
like just to go back on like tax plans, like the software will do checks for you.
Yeah.
So like it'll address verify, for instance.
There's a lot of verifications to make sure.
So like by the time you get to where you need to file the 1099, there's been checks on the back end. The technology's done that. So that's doing a lot of the review that probably a person was doing.
Yeah.
It's like verifying address and stuff. Like if the USPS verifies it, you're good.
Absolutely.
So that's the stuff that like you utilize the technology for, so that you don't have to do that on your end.
That's right. Yeah. Now, how would you say firms can turn these kind of insights into repeatable systems for future filing seasons? Building standard procedures, things like that, to accommodate these.
Yeah, if you have good procedures, if you have good workflows, if you have your stuff built into your workflow system like we do in Carbon, where it's step by step, this is what you need to do. If you have monitoring going on where you're once a month checking for W-9s and checking for all this stuff, if you create these processes, then those last, for at least a few years until the technology changes again. So,
Right.
You're always improving processes, always changing stuff. But like, if you get these things in place, like it will make your life easier. You really need to start thinking about it. Like, we're in December now.
Yeah.
We're a little late for January. It's better than January 1st, but like after tax season, or if you do that, if your bookkeeper is like after January, like do a debrief as soon as possible after and figure out what was like the bad part, and then spend the summer when it's the slowest, like developing these new processes so that when it comes to January, you're ready to go.
Yeah. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you're just sitting around like, I'm just waiting for this next busy part, and then I'll be crazy again, and then I'll wait again for that.
Yeah, and most accounts, like that's not the problem. Most accounts are too busy to reevaluate their processes.
Right.
So that's what I see. Like they get too busy, they have too many clients, and they're servicing the wrong types of clients. So I think you need to take a step back and be like, hey, do I have the right clients?
Really
If I
evaluate.
do, like, how can I service them better?
That's right. Okay. Let's you talk a little bit about the way your firm has experienced these kind of changes. So things that you've been able to implement to make things easier, and perhaps areas that you've noticed that January has been easier because of certain changes that you've made at your own firm.
Yeah, I will say, kind of going back, like I want to start doing tax returns on like January 1st.
Yeah.
So, because there's like the easy tax return, like the easy partnerships where it's a real estate deal and it's
Right.
transactions, and like everyone has these. Like those, the faster you can get them done in January, the better. Like you might not be able to e-file them until February because of the e-filing system in the states and stuff. But if you have them in the tax return program ready to go, like if you can, the faster you can do that, then the more complex stuff that comes in February and March, like that's the best thing. So like, how do I do the tax returns earlier? Well, I got to do the 1099s earlier if I'm doing that stuff. So like, how do I do that? And it's like, I got to get to it sooner. I've got to do this. I got to have the technology in place so I can do it. And a lot of times, like when you're reviewing the books is when you can do the 1099s.
Yeah.
So like for me personally and for our firm, it was like, making sure that I have access to the data. Like if I don't have access to data on January 1st, I'm not gonna be able to do a tax return. So it's like being able to have access to the data in the accounting system. So getting people a cloud accounting system. It's like, this 2025, most people are on that now.
Yeah.
Not all, but 10 years ago, that was rare. Like we still had a lot of QuickBooks Desktop and stuff like that. So getting them to the cloud, and then it's like, okay, what are our processes that I think are really dumb?
Yeah.
And 1099s was a huge one. When I started at our firm, we were still printing all of our 1099s.
Wow.
And and you had to put the 1096 on top of it and staple it, and then you had to do the client copy and all this stuff. This makes no sense. This is making January very, very bad and taking lots and lots of time from our CPAs and our accountants that should be doing tax returns.
Yeah.
So that's where we found that's where we found Tax Bandits to solve that and alleviate that. And we no longer have paper. Everything's done, and Tax Bandits will mail it out for you. So even if you have people you don't have emails for them, Tax Bandits handles all that.
Yeah.
So that just allows our firm to do stuff early and early and earlier. And that's what the client wants. The client doesn't want, whenever I talk with clients and they're moving in CPA firms, it's normally not responsive. So, you're too busy to respond to them because you don't have the right process in place.
Mm-hmm.
And it took too long for me to do their tax return. I gave them the stuff February 1st and I didn't get it till September 15th.
Yeah.
It's because you have bad processes. They have bad processes. It's like there's no reason why that should happen. So if that's you and that sounds familiar to you, then you really have to reevaluate your processes and your clients. And you got to constantly do it all the time. There's always new technology coming out, and it's exciting. Accounting, that's why I think I like public accounting and why most of you guys like it. It's you're not doing the same stuff every day. There's new stuff going on. There's new tax law changes. There's always new stuff.
Yeah.
And you got to stay on top of it. And you can't do it yourself. Utilize the technology to help you do that.
That's true. And along those lines, would you like to have you've spoken a lot about, the need for embracing technology and things like that. Could you also talk about your take on, the way the accounting world needs to be looking at AI solutions?
Yeah. So kind of what I said before, there's a shortage of accountants. There's a shortage of accountants. There's a shortage of CPAs. There's more, the work gets more, what technology allows is for stuff to get more complex. Mm-hmm. Before technology, you had a store you could only sell in one place. I had a shoe store downtown and I had one location and I only had to worry about sales tax there and allocation there. Well, now that shoe store is selling all over the world. That creates lots of tax complexities, bookkeeping complexity. Complexity is only going to increase. And technology just adds to that. So what AI is going to do is allow us to do these mundane tasks that we don't want to do anyway, reconciling, the basics, and allow us to spend more time on problem solving with these clients. Now, my take on the AI in this particular moment is that there's a lot of AI technology companies popping up, and most of them will not exist in 2 years. So I think you have to be really careful on the ones you utilize and the ones that you adopt. Because what you don't want is you don't want to adopt a technology and then a year you have to change it because they're out of business. So I'm being a little cautious on the ones that we're picking. For tax, I'm not picking a tax solution yet because I just think there's too many of them and it's kind of the wild, wild west and none of them really do it well yet. So, but AI is only going to get better and better and better. So the stuff you should be utilizing now, like ChatGPT, AI is being built into all these products. Your email, Google, Tax Bandits has some. It's being built into everything. So utilize the products that you're using already. Utilize ChatGPT, and then you just got to monitor. It's going to happen quick. It's already happening fast. AI didn't exist 2 years ago.
Right.
It did, but not in this. So it's only getting better. It's only going to get better. Especially on the bookkeeping side, we had Xero announce this week that their AI automation is coming. QuickBooks already has some of it in there. I don't think it's that good yet, but it will get better, and it will get better and get better. So like, you're going to be able to handle more clients at once with this AI, which will be good. That means you can make more money. So yeah, but AI is going to force you, like, you can't be doing paper stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to fall farther and farther behind. So you've got to start embracing some of the technology now.
Absolutely.
And it shouldn't be scary either. Like, it is scary in a way, like AI, it could take my job. It's like, no, that's not the way you should look at it. You should look at it more like AI is going to help my job and help me do the stuff that I don't want to do.
Yeah. If you embrace it.
Yeah. Imagine if like someone could just answer your emails all day.
Yeah.
And you only had to answer 5% of them because those are the ones you actually, like, AI can handle. Like, that will save you time.
Yeah. Even if it just drafted responses and you could go through and, check. Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for this, Jason. This has been fascinating. Feel free to chime in the comments section if there's any other questions. But any final thoughts, Jason? Anything else we haven't covered that you'd like to point out, or any final takes you have?
Oh man,
here?
I would just go back to, like, if you're looking where to start easy. Like, do the easy stuff. Like, if you're not using a 1099 software right now, do Tax Bandits. It's easy. Do the small technologies first. That'll give you those incremental values, and then you just build on that. That's my biggest advice I could give anybody. And you're not alone, and don't feel like you're behind or you're bad or blah blah blah. Like, there's thousands and thousands of people that are on your same space, and I would say, go there. There's communities for this. Go on LinkedIn, follow people that you like, that you think are good at technology. Like, I like Jason's stats. I think he's good.
Yeah.
Follow people like that. So they do a lot of the work for you and figure out the technology that they think you should try that's in the accounting space.
Yeah.
So that's my advice and my thoughts.
Thanks, Jason. Well, thanks again for joining us, and thanks to everyone for listening and taking part in this
Do you
session.
have any questions?
I'm not seeing any questions right now, so people are being shy. But hey, if there's anything,
Now's your chance. Ask a question.
I'll ramble for a minute, but here's your chance. That was some great class. Okay, cool. Some compliments there. Thanks for the compliments there, to Nell and Margaret. Thank you for those.
Some shout outs. Yeah.
So it was just compliments. Jason. No questions. Awesome. Well,
Thank you all for joining us. And
thanks for joining. If you want to hear more Jason, you can check out the Wealth Rabbit podcast. He's also a frequent guest on many other podcasts in the accounting world.
Here's one. We have a lot of pushback living in a small town of people being online. So here's what I tell when a client says, "I don't want to give you bank data. I don't have online banking."
Mm-hmm.
This is what I tell them. I'm like, you do. You still have access to it. All of your transactions are already online.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's actually more secure if we are monitoring it, because then we will know if stuff's happening.
Yeah.
So
it's a perspective change. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. And I totally get it. Like, we have people that, they're scared of technology and scared of stuff. And I totally sympathize with that. But it's actually like, it's like writing a check. Writing a check is way less secure than paying by ACH online. There's so much check fraud going on.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys do tax returns, like, pretty much any check you mail is getting whitewashed and stolen at this point. So, like, it's actually a lot of times, like, less secure to not be using the online system. But I would just approach it that way, to just say, hey, we're already, your stuff is already digitized online. All your transactions are online. Like, this is going to allow me to help monitor stuff to make sure nothing bad's happening. So instead of you just getting a statement every month, like, we get live data every day.
Yeah. That's a brilliant point there. Of like the whole, like, not having an account. Like, you actually do, and like you're no less likely to be hacked because.
Yeah, you're more likely to be hacked.
Yeah.
Because if they know, like, if you get hacked today's was December 3rd when we're recording this, you're not going to get that statement until January 5th. That's a month later. Like they've already taken all your money.
Yeah.
And you don't know about it. Like if we have access to it, like we at least, have a chance of seeing it beforehand and helping you.
Yeah. That's a good point. Thanks for that. Thanks for those questions, folks. Anything else coming through? Yeah. Anything else?
Anything else? Thanks,
to wrap
everyone.
it up, Zach.
Yeah, thanks everyone. If you were here live,
Trying to play us off.
Yeah, here's a quick reminder on how you can earn your CPE if you're attending this live.
Today's event has ended. To earn CPE, go to earmark.app or scan the QR code on the screen. Then log in or create your free account. Search for the course by tapping on the magnifying glass icon on the home screen and then entering the name of this event. It takes a few days to make the course, so if you're attending this event live, keep an eye out for an email letting you know when the course is available. Pass the quiz to earn your CPE, then tap the button to email yourself a certificate. Stay tuned for more events from Earmark. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.